Hey guys, it's Mr. Walker here, and welcome to another fantastic math lesson where we're going to dive a little bit deeper into division um, and learn some more about how division works and the concepts behind it, okay? So in a previous lesson, we took a look at division and some different techniques to division, right? Some different ways that we can kind of visualize it and represent it visually. And today we're going to, like I said, move a little bit more forward with that and look at understanding and solving division problems with a remainder, and we're going to be using an array and an area model to help us do that. So our learning goal for today is to understand division problems and use an array and an area model to help us do that. Okay. So you're going to need a couple things today in order to help you accomplish these goals. And the first thing is you're going to need something to write on and something to write with. So definitely have out some paper, your dry erase board, something like that, something to write on and something to write with. I would also recommend some graph paper, something with some boxes or something, because we're going to be making an area model, and sometimes it's just a lot easier to be able to draw something out in an area model if you do have those squares to work with. Kind of like I have here. I'm going to have some squares to kind of be able to draw a rectangle and keep it straight and even and all that kind of stuff, okay? So make sure you have those things. When you have that and you're good to go, click continue and we'll keep moving. Alright guys, so before we jump right into the area model and drawing out an array, we're going to kind of take a step back. So in a previous lesson, I talked a little bit about two different types of division, or like two different ways that you kind of think about division when we encounter a division problem. And the one way is called partition division, and the other way is called measurement division. And really, either method for division is correct and can get you to the right answer, but you're going to have to kind of interpret your answers differently based on what you do. So I want to review those one more time with you guys real quick. And then for today, we're actually going to be focusing on the measurement division and how that can help us in making those arrays and making those area models to represent our division problem. Okay, so I have two problems here. I have, well, actually the same problem, I just have it twice. So I have 12 divided by 3, and we're going to do it once using partition division and then again using measurement division. Okay, so when I see 12 divided by 3, first thing I want to do is I'm going to draw out 12 of something if I'm using the partition method, okay? So I'm going to draw out my 12, whether it's 12 circles or 12 dots or 12 rectangles or whatever it is. I'm going to draw out 12 of them, okay? So let me do that real quick. Okay, so now I have my 12 dots here, okay? So that's what I'm starting with. And in partition division, I'm going to partition them. I'm going to move them into however many groups I'm dividing them into. So in this case, it's 3, right? So I would draw out 3 groups. 1, 2, 3, and I would start to partition or break these guys out into those groups. So 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. Alright, easy enough, you get the idea. So my answer here would be 4. If I divide that 12 into 3 equal groups, we'll get an answer of 4, okay? Probably the first go-to, like the easiest method to do, because this is exactly what we're doing. We're partitioning those 12 dots into 3 groups. That will give me 4 in each group, okay? Measurement division, still going to get us to the same answer, but it's going to look a little bit different, okay? This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to be counting those 3 groups, right? And I'm going to basically count by those 3's until I get to my 12 or whatever number it is that I'm dividing, okay? So I would do 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've gotten to my 12. Now I look back at it and I say, okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 as my answer, okay? So having these two different methods for multiple or for division like this kind of makes things confusing, right? Because I have the same answer, but I kind of got there two different ways. And the reason why this is okay is because of um, basically like the commutative law of multiplication, right? We know that 4 groups of 3 equals 12, and we know that 3 groups of 4 equals 12. Either way we spin it, we're going to get the same way. So the same can be said for division. If we have 12, we divide it by 3, it's going to give us 4, whether we're making 3 groups of 4 or whether we're making 4 groups of 3. Whether we're making 3 groups of 4 like we did here, or whether we're making 4 groups of 3 like we did here. It's going to get us the same way to the same place as long as we're interpreting our answers, okay? For the purposes of the lesson today, we're going to be focusing more on this measurement way, okay? So it's going to get us thinking in the form of arrays and how that represents to an area model. And it kind of ties back into what we've already done with multiplication and area and perimeter, and using that area model to help us to multiply. We're going to be doing the same sort of thing with division, okay? So we'll practice through a few examples today, and then you guys will give it a try on your own. And then, of course, as always, if you have questions or comments, you know how to get a hold of me. So let's go ahead and take a look at an example. All right, so for our first example here, we're going to do 10 divided by 2. Okay, we're doing 10 divided by 2. So if I was going to draw this using an array, again, going back to those two different methods of multiplication that we talked about a second ago, I could do this two ways. So I could draw two groups, and I could evenly partition or put those 10 into those two groups, okay? So I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect, okay? So I could draw an array in that fashion. I don't have anything left over, no remainders or anything like that, so I'm good to go. I could also go by groups of 2 until I get to 10. So I could do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Which means I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in this one I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to get 5 either way, right? I'm going to get the same answer either way, whether I do it into groups of 2 or whether I do it into two groups of 5, okay? When we go to the area model, though, we're going to be using the measurement way of dividing, okay? So we could show the area model something like this. We're going to start by whatever we're dividing by. In this case, it's 2. We're going to draw that as the height of our rectangle, okay, for the area model that we're going to draw. And then we're going to have to use the length, the width, whatever you want to call it. We're going to have to count by 2's until we get to whatever number we're dividing. In this case, it's 10. Okay, so we're going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And this is going to be a rectangle. So the height is going to be 2. The width or the length, whatever you want to call it, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our area on the inside here would be 10. So 10 divided by 2 is going to give me 5. Now in this particular example, we didn't have a remainder left over, so it's okay. It went in evenly. We were able to divide it into those groups evenly. So let's take a look at an example where we might have a remainder. We might actually have something left over. Okay, so this time I have 11 divided by 2 equals what? Now, we might know from the last example that we know we're going to have a remainder because we just did it divided by 10. We just did 10 divided by 2, and that was even, so 11 is not going to be even. So we're going to represent this a couple different ways to see basically what's going on behind the scenes and what's happening to leave us a remainder, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do that array model. But I'm going to represent my array model just using the measurement type of division, okay? Which means I'm going to count by groups of 2, okay? So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then 11, right? That guy's going to be by himself. So if I looked at this, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with a remainder of 1, okay? That guy's by himself. He doesn't fit evenly into a group. So we could say that 11 divided by 2 is going to be, let's see, I'm going to write my quotient down here. It's going to be 5 with a remainder of 1. Let's represent that, though, as well using the area model. So again, my height of my rectangle is going to be 2. Okay, so come over here. I'm going to go 1, 2. And then I'm going to count by 2's until I get to 11. So I could go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, as far as I could go there. So this guy's going to be, let's see, 2 high. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide, or long, however you want to look at it. But that's only going to get me to 10. So I'm going to need one more square here to get me to 11. Okay, so the area model, the shape of this guy, would look kind of like this. It would be a rectangle with this little guy hanging off the side here, because we need that one more in order to get 11. Okay, so that's how we can represent this problem visually using an area model. And this helps us in a couple different ways, because we can think of this as setting up our division problem, but we can also check our answer with multiplication easy this way by saying 2 times 5 equals 10 plus one more will give me 11. Okay, so it's basically just representing this equation of 11 divided by 2 in a couple different ways to help us really see and understand what's going on here. Okay, all right, let's try out another example here. This time we have 23 divided by 4. All right, so first thing first, I'm going to draw an array here. Again, using those dots to kind of represent it. And I'm going to be using that measurement type of division where I'm going to be counting up by 4s, right? I'm going to be making groups of 4. So I want you guys to go ahead and draw an array out that way, and then let's compare what we get. All right, so here's what I got. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 23, right? So I have how many groups of 4? All right, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 4 with 3 left over. So those 3, I can't make another group of 4 with that. So I know that my quotient is going to be 5 with a remainder of 3. So that wasn't too terrible to draw out, but let's go ahead and use the area model and see if it goes any quicker. All right, so I want you guys to sketch out the area model. Remember, our height is going to be 5, because that, or I'm sorry, our height is going to be 4, because that's what we're dividing by. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then see if you guys can fill out the rest of this, and then we'll compare and see what we get. All right, so my height is 4. I'm going to be counting by 4s to get up to 23. So let's see, we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So I'm going to have to stop there. All right, and that would be 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to give me 20, and then I'm going to have to do 1, 2, 3 more to get me to 23. So 4 times 5 is 20, plus 3 more would give me 23. 23 divided by 4 would give me 5 groups with a remainder of 3. Okay, different ways to think about it there. Right, so you might be finding that the area model is maybe a tad easier to draw, because we could just sketch it out, count up by 4, whatever we're dividing by, and then we count over how many spots we need to get there. If you prefer using the array, that's cool too. For today's purposes, or for this lesson's purposes, we're going to do a bit of both, just so we can get used to both formats, okay? So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this is starting to make sense. This is something we're going to kind of keep practicing and seeing again and again. So if you're not completely comfortable with it yet, that's okay. We're going to get some more practice at it. But again, as always, if you need any help, if you have any questions, any comments or concerns, please reach out and let me know. I'm more than happy to help. Reach out to your learning guide, reach out to a teacher, reach out to somebody. Just get the help that you need. And as always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.